it's time for Love Songs with Mr. Lunt, the part of the show where Mr. Lunt comes out and sings a love song.
He said to her, I'd like a cheeseburger, and I might like a milkshake as well. She said to him, I can't give you either. And he said, isn't this Burger Bell? She said, yes it is, but we're closed now. But we open tomorrow at 10. He said, I am extremely hungry, but I guess I can wait until then. 'Cause you're his cheeseburger, his yummy cheeseburger. He'll wait for you, yeah, he'll wait for you. Oh, you are his cheeseburger, his tasty cheeseburger. He'll wait for you. Oh, he will wait for you. He stayed at the drive-thru till sunrise. He may have dozed off once or twice when he spotted a billboard for Denny's, bacon and eggs for half price. How could he resist such an offer? He really needed something to munch. Cheeseburger, please do not get angry. He'll eat and be back here for lunch. 'Cause you're his cheeseburger, his precious cheeseburger. Be back for you, he'll be back for you. Won't be so long, cheeseburger. Oh, lovely cheeseburger, be back for you. Oh, he'll be back for you. 'Cause he loves you, cheeseburger, with all his heart. And there ain't nothing gonna tear you two apart. And if the world suddenly ran out of cheese, he would get down on his hands and knees to see if someone accidentally dropped some cheese in the dirt. And he would wash it up for you, wash it up for you, clean that dirty cheese up just for you. You are his cheeseburger.
I thought you were going to sing about growing up in Connecticut.
This has been Love Songs with Mr. Lunt. Tune in next time to hear Mr. Lunt say...
I grew up in New Jersey.
And now it's time for ukulele karaoke with Bob, the part of the show where Bob comes out and sings an ukulele karaoke.
What's going on?
You are doing the ukulele karaoke, no?
No, I'm on a break. This is the Pirates.
They are busy with the rest of the show.
But I don't even know the song.
Your lyrics, monsieur. Bring in the props.
But wait,
Your island breeze, monsieur.
Hold on a sec. I'm totally unprepared to do a solo.
Your backup singers?
What? Isn't that the...
Oui, they are the Wiggly Turtle Tubies.
The Wiggly Turtle Tubies. They look taller on TV.
So do you, Tomato.
But really, this is Larry's gig. I can't just...
The show must go on, monsieur. Quick, that is your cue. Just follow along, you will be fine.
Lance and Turtle, aloha Lance. Lance and Turtle, dance, dance, dance. Lance and Turtle, aloha Lance. Lance and Turtle, dance, dance, dance.
Well, I keep a little turtle at my uncle and my aunt's. My Annie's name is Myrtle, and my island turtle's name is Lance. He doesn't wander far, even if he has a chance. He just plays his ukulele and he does the hula dance. What?
Lance and Turtle, aloha Lance. Lance and Turtle, dance, dance, dance. Lance and Turtle, aloha Lance. Lance and Turtle, dance, dance, dance.
luau barbecue one breezy summer night. Invited all his turtle pals to come and have a weeky bite. The turtle started walking there as Lance began to swing. The one that lived across the street arrived there in the spring.
Oh, I get it. Turtles are slow, so it took them a long time. That's pretty good.
Lance the turtle, aloha Lance. Lance the turtle, dance, dance, dance.
But Lance just kept on cooking. He was grilling full of glee. He was marinating ribs because he likes syrup with his feta cheese. I'm sorry, Lance's purple turtle shell has ketchup, if you please. Pineapples are shiny, spotted tiki bumblebees. Oh, man.
Lance the turtle, aloha Lance. Lance the turtle.
Oh, wait a minute. Guys, I don't think this is right. It doesn't make any sense.
It works for us.
But
The song.
there are luscious chocolate fingers spinning slowly in the school. Male kalikimaka, fluffy bunnies driving in the pool. Larry, 1,000 igloos wax the beach, spray luggage in the tree, raining puppies, flying clown, flossing punahele. Ow! Oh, forget it.
Woohoo! La vaca sneezes coconuts, Tahiti yo-yo leg, Wahini with spaghetti sauce, don't make the fuzzy parrot beg.
Paper plastic porcupine. The horsey makes his bed. The huma nuku nuku I wasn't fed.
Lance the turtle, aloha Lance.
This has been Ukulele Karaoke with Bob. Tune in next time when Bob says...
I'll be in my dressing room.
Dance, dance, dance.
Hi, everyone. This is Larry. Normally, this would be the time when the narrator comes on and says, "And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song." But I've been thinking and talking with the guys.
And we've decided it's time to broaden our scope artistically.
Yeah, we're artists.
Word up!
There's a time to be silly, and there's a time to be serious.
A time to open up your heart.
And show how you feel. Artistically.
'Cause we all have something to share. Baby, I know your eyes see right through my disguise.
And no one can deny.
Baby, that I'm the one whose love is no surprise.
And he can't tell you no lie.
But there's a secret I've been hiding, I can't keep it no more.
There's this thing about himself he's never told you before.
Baby,
He needs to tell you something.
I don't got a belly button. Oh, I need to tell you something.
You figured out he don't got a belly button.
Belly button, no.
Oh no, no.
Baby, please don't squeal. Just tell me how you feel.
'Cause his love is for real.
And if you went away, my heart would never heal.
So to you he appeals.
There's something missing in my middle, and it's hard to ignore.
There's this thing about himself he's never told you before.
Baby,
He needs to tell you something.
I don't got a belly button. Oh, I need to tell you something.
Have you figured out he don't got a belly button?
Belly button, no. No, no.
covered by your shirt, but not your HM or
Belly button. Belly button.
A stylish something absent from my midriff's decor.
There's this thing about himself he's never told you before.
Maybe
He needs to tell you something.
I don't got a belly button. Oh, I need to tell you something.
You figured out he don't got a belly button.
Belly button, no. Oh, no, no. No belly button. Do I at least get a lollipop?
And now it's time for silly...
Hold it!
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Scottish Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly Scottish song.
I can't tell you how proud I am at this moment.
I dance on stilts while he knits quilts.
Nice quilt.
I sing with simulated Scottish Highland lilt.
Oh, beautiful.
He plays his bagpipes. Eats haggis melts.
Haggis.
We feel so smart in our red tartan Scottish kilts.
Sing it, lad.
In our red tartan kilts. We feel so smart in our red tartan Scottish kilts.
Technically, you stitch a quilt, but otherwise lovely.
Top of the morning to you.
I'll have you know that's not in Scotland.
I dance on stilts.
Excuse me, sir.
He stitches
What
quilts.
you doing with a
I
shamrock?
sing with simulated Northern Irish lilt.
Irish?
He plays his whistle.
What?
Eats salted smelts.
It's not on the menu.
We feel so smart in our green tartan Irish kilts.
I got nothing against me Irish
In
mates.
our green tartan kilts. We feel so smart in our green tartan Irish
But
kilts.
this is a Scottish song.
Chip, chip, cheerio.
Oh,
I dance on stilts. He stitches quilts.
what are you doing?
I sing with simulated English cockney lilt.
English.
He plays his trumpet. Eats crumpet melts.
Give me that crumpet.
We feel so smart in our St. George's English kilts.
Well, you shouldn't let me
In
pass.
our St. George's kilts. We feel so smart in our St. George's English kilts.
Howdy, you all! Stop it, you! You're ruining my
I
moment!
dance on stilts. He stitches quilts.
American!
I sing with ordinary unaccented
I'm
lilts.
feeling
He
dizzy!
plays his banjo. Eats cheddar melts.
I'm breaking
We feel so smart in our star-spangled striped kilts.
Stop that!
In our star-spangled
tell ya.
kilts. We feel so smart in our star-spangled striped kilts. We feel so smart in our star-spangled striped kilts.
Oh.
This has been Silly Songs with Scottish Larry. Tune in next time to hear Larry say...
Just get him some scotch tape and butterscotch. He'll be fine.
Ah, my bunny lies over the ocean.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song.
There once was a boy who lived in a house, and the house sat under a tree. By the tree ran a fence that stretched far and wide around the gated community.
Can I have my ball? Can you get my ball? I kicked it into the tree, and my ball bounced up, and my ball dropped in to the gated community.
Oh, the gated community is where we like to be. Everything's so lovely, oh, our hearts are filled with glee. And when you come to visit, you can stand outside and see what a lovely bunch we are in our gated unity.
Can I have my ball? Can you get my ball? I kicked it into the tree, and my ball bounced up, and my ball dropped in to the gated community.
Oh, the gated community is where we like to be. Our clothes are never dirty and our lawns are always green. And when you come to visit, you can stand outside and see what a tiny bunch we are in our gated unity. The gated community, we think you will agree, is pleasantly devoid of unsightly stray debris.
Free of debris.
Gated community. Our smiles are wide smiles and comfy custody. And when you come to visit, you stand outside. What a smiley bunch we are in our gated unity.
Can I have my ball?
Community
Can I get
is
my
where we like
ball?
to be. Our
I
lives have been
kicked
made
it
perfect
into
by
the
a happy
tree.
engine's feet.
And my ball
And
bounced
when you come
up,
to
and
visit,
my ball
you can
dropped
stand outside and
in.
see
To the gated commune.
what a lovely bunch we are.
To the gated commune.
What a happy bunch we are in our gated
community.
This has been Silly Songs with Larry.
Look, a ball.
Tune in next time to hear Larry say...
Thank you.
Hi, kids, and welcome to VeggieTales. I'm Bob the Tomato,
And I'm Junior Asparagus.
and we're here to answer your questions.
Yep, that's right.
I bet you're wondering where Larry is. He was a little tired after the last show, so we decided to let him sleep in today. But don't worry, he'll be here pretty soon. In the meantime, Junior Asparagus has very graciously agreed to help out.
Hi.
Now, Junior,
Yes, Bob?
today we got a letter from Victor Bartholomew of Sausalito, California.
Oh. Hi, Victor.
Victor has a problem. He says there's a kid named Louis in his class who hit him yesterday.
Oh, my.
Oh, my is right. Now, in church, Victor just learned that God wants us to be nice to people, even when they're not nice to us. But Victor doesn't really feel like doing that. Deep down inside, he wants to hit Louis back. What should he do? Should he do it his way, or should he do it God's way?
Oh, wow. I know how you feel, Victor. Sometimes the stuff I learn in church doesn't sound like very much fun. Sometimes I feel like doing things my own way, too. Do you suppose we have a story about that?
Oh, do we? Have I ever told you about the Israelites?
The Israelites. Oh, yeah, I remember those guys. Weren't they supposed to be God's chosen people?
That's what the Bible says.
Oh, I bet they always followed God's directions.
Ho, ho, ho! You'd think so, wouldn't you? But sometimes God's directions didn't seem to make sense to them. You see, well, maybe I should just show you.
Huh?
Close your eyes, Junior, and don't open them until I say so.
All right.
Okay.
Well, how did we get here?
We're using our imagination.
Oh. So these must be the Israelites.
Yep.
Why are they out here in the middle of nowhere?
Oh, now that is a good question. Have you ever heard of a guy named Moses?
Isn't he the one who parted the Red Sea?
Right again. But we're going to go back a little further. The Israelites were living in Egypt, but not because they wanted to. No, the Egyptians had taken them captive and were making them work very hard as their slaves.
Oh, dear.
It was miserable. But God cared about the Israelites, so he sent Moses to lead them out of Egypt and into their own land, the Promised Land.
This is the Promised Land?
No. Oh, the land God promised them was wonderful. You could grow things and there was lots of food. No, this is the desert.
So why are they here?
Ah, yes, that is the point. When Moses and the Israelites left Egypt, all they had to do was follow God's directions and they'd go right to the Promised Land. But they didn't always follow God's directions. Sometimes they went their own way instead.
What do you mean?
Well, for example, Moses led them to the Promised Land right away. But when some of the Israelites took a look around, they saw people there that looked like giants.
That scared them so much they wouldn't go in. They got to the land God promised them, and then they turned around and ran away.
Oh, my.
Now, God was very disappointed in the Israelites for not following his directions, so he told them that none of them could go into the promised land for 40 years.
You're kidding me.
Nope. That's why they're stuck here in the desert.
Wow.
By the time 40 years had gone by, Moses had died.
I thought this story was about him.
No, it's about Joshua.
Joshua? Who's he?
Well, he was Moses' helper. When Moses died, Joshua became Israel's new leader.
Do I know you?
I'm the narrator.
Oh.
The Israelites were very sad about Moses dying because he was a great leader. But at last, it was finally time.
It's time? It's time? Did he just say it's time?
We didn't have a lot of fun in the desert. We didn't have a lot of fun in the sand. Well, saddle up your cow and go behind us now.
Because we're going to the promised land. For years I've eaten nothing but manna. A dish that is filling but bland.
But now we're on our way.
I'll have a change to play. Because we're going to the promised land. And in the promised land it's gonna be so grand. We'll have our fill from the grill as much as we can stand. It'll be so great, oh we can hardly wait. Cause we're going to the promised land. The dining was loosey with Moses, but we'll be feasting with Josh in command. I'd like a taco, please, and some pinos and cheese. Because we're going to the promised land. And in the promised land, it's gonna be so grand. We'll have our fill from the grill as much as we can stand. It'll be so great, oh, we can hardly wait. Cause we're going to the promised land. And in the promised land, it's gonna be so grand. We'll have our fill from the grill as much as we can stand. It'll be so great. With waffles on my plate. Cause we're going to the promised land. I hear it's flowing with milk and honey. Sounds sticky. Cause we're going to the promised land. Yeah, we're going to the promised land. Cause we're going to the promised land.
So off they went. After 40 years, the Israelites were finally going to their new home. With a big grin, Joshua led his people into the promised land. Unfortunately, he overlooked one little detail. Jericho.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Larry the Cucumber presents in a sequential image stereophonic multimedia event the Song of the Sabu.
This is a song about a boy. A song about a little boy and his saboos. A song about a little boy and his 3 saboos. The little boy who had a sick sabu, a sad sabu, and a mute sabu. And also a hippo. This is me at the airport. This is my Aunt Ruth. This is me at a bullfight. This is me fighting a bull. This is me and the bull. This is me and the bull, and I think that's the bull's cousin. He's a sabu.
Hold it! You call this a multimedia event? This is a slide projector and a bedsheet. And what on earth is a sabu, anyway?
It's kind of like a cow. See?
Yes. Well, very good. This could be interesting. Carry on.
Sing it with me. Boy is riding with Sabu. Boy is riding with Sabu. Into town in his canoe. Into town. chewing on bamboo.
It's for chewing on bamboo.
Kitsy boy and three sabu.
Dancing boy and three sabu.
That sabu is rowing and crying. Bahoo-moo-moo, 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 bahoo-moo-moo-moo-moo. The other two.
Tries to tell the other two.
Mutabu is waving and grunting. Uh-oh.
What happens next?
Um,
Does the hippo see them? Is the poor mute Cebu successful in communicating the imminent danger to the other passengers? Is the boy injured? Why is the sad Cebu sad? Is the canoe wood or aluminum?
oh, look. There's me and Bob at SeaWorld. Oh, wow. Forgot about that one. There's me and that bull again.
You can't just start a song and leave it hanging like that. You know, I've come to expect a lot more from you. This is quite disappointing. I'm going to have to speak to Bob about this.
Oh, look. A Cebu. No, wait. That's a water buffalo.
No more song about Cebu. Need another verse or two. Audience is skating and leaving. Bye bye moo, bye bye moo, bye bye moo, bye bye moo, moo, moo.
I want my money back.
Yeah, that's very good.
Did you hear something, Jean-Claude?
Mais oui, Philly. I think someone has bumped our wall.
Who are you?
Who are we? I think we should ask, who are you?
Oh, I am Joshua, and these are the children of Israel.
Oh, hello, children.
Hi.
It was nice to meet you. Now go away.
Yes.
No, you don't understand. God has given us this land for our new home. So, well, you're gonna have to leave.
Oh, did you hear that, Jean-Claude? The little pecan says we have to leave.
I'm a cucumber.
That is hilarious. Let me point something out to you, Pecan. We have a wall. You do not. If anyone is to be doing the leaving, it will be you.
That is right.
Now listen to me. Our God said that this land was ours, and that all we had to do was follow his directions. So, I'm afraid, if you don't come out, we're gonna have to come in there after you.
I'd like to see you try. You can never get over our giant wall, Tiny Pecan.
Yes, Tiny Pecan. You are not a mighty deer. You are just a baby gherkin.
I'm a cucumber.
Oh, ooh, my sludgy.
Maybe we should fall back and regroup.
Flee, you cowards! You may have your guns, but we have our wall!
Well, things weren't going as smoothly as Joshua had hoped, so the Israelites decided to pull back and talk things over.
That's a big wall.
This time, I really mean it. We should go back to Egypt.
Huh?
Don't you remember? Snorkeling in the Nile, 3 square meals a day, plenty of exercise. Oh, it was paradise.
We were in slavery.
Nothing is perfect.
Listen, kids, that land is rightfully ours, and the only way we're gonna get it is by taking out that wall, right, Jerry?
Yeah, that's right, Jimmy.
So Jerry and I are gonna put our heads together and come up with a plan to take out the wall.
Yeah,
so aggressive.
Well, Joshua didn't know what to do, and he could see that things were getting a little out of control.
Where did we put that chemistry set?
Is Egypt north or south?
Then he remembered that whenever Moses didn't know what to do, he would go and talk to God.
How did he do that?
Well, Moses found the best way was to go off by himself and just listen.
I'll be right back.
So Josh went away from the camp to see if he could hear God. After he had gone a ways, he saw a strange man with a sword.
Whoa!
Josh wondered whether this guy was on his side or on Jericho's side.
Are you for us or for our enemies?
Neither. But as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come.
Well, Josh realized that this was a messenger from God, so he immediately fell face down on the ground in reverence.
I'm sorry, I couldn't make that out.
I said, what message does my Lord have for his servant?
Oh, really? That's what you said?
Yes, that's what I said.
Oh, all right. I come with directions from the Lord.
Great. What are they?
Ah, yes. The Lord says to you, Joshua, see, I have delivered Jericho into your hands. March around the city once with all your men. Do this each day for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast, have all the people give a loud shout, and the walls of the city will collapse, and Jericho will be yours. Well, have fun.
Those were very interesting directions.
They sure were. Josh went back to camp and told the plan to the rest of the
And the
Israelites.
walls of the city will collapse, and Jericho will be yours.
They thought it was interesting too.
So, we're supposed to hop around the city for 7 days, blow our little horns, yell, and the walls are just gonna fall down.
Yep, those are God's directions.
Well, I'm sure that would work great if the walls were made out of jello.
Ooh, then we could eat them.
Last call for Egypt. Who's coming with me?
Just a minute. I think you'll find our plan a bit more sophisticated. Blowing the horns in the desert isn't gonna do it. What we need is serious firepower. Sherry the curtain! Behold our creation! The Walminator 3000!
How are we clapping?
I have no idea.
This is terrible. It looks like they're gonna ignore God's directions again.
Shh, Josh has something to say.
I think we're forgetting something. Ahem. The Lord has given this land to us. No need to fuss. He knows what he's doing. We know that he will take care of us if we will follow him. Now everyone, sing together.
The Lord has given this land to us. No need to fuss. He knows what he's doing. We know that he will take care of us if we will follow him.
As your new leader, I think we should try doing it God's way first.
Well, God's way still sounded kind of funny, but the Israelites agreed to give it a try. And the next morning, there they were, marching around Jericho. It wasn't long before the people of Jericho noticed the Israelites.
What are you doing?
We're going to knock your wall down.
By walking around in circles?
Yes. It's not because we're crazy or anything. Our God told us to do it this way.
Oh, that's a great idea. You go ahead and keep walking.
Keep walking, but you won't knock down our wall. Keep walking, but she isn't gonna fall. It's plain to see. Your brains are very small to think walking will be knocking down our wall.
You silly little pickle. You silly little peas. You think that walking around will bring this city to its knees? The awesome powers of this wall we've clearly demonstrated. But out here in the hot, hot sun, perhaps you're dehydrated? Pity them, Philippe. Mais oui, Jean-Claude, mais oui. Won't you join me in my irritating little song? It would be an honor. Keep walking, but you won't knock down our wall. Keep walking, but she isn't gonna fall. It's plain to see, your brains are very small to think walking. We'll be knocking down our wall. Keep walking, but you won't knock down our wall. Keep walking, but she isn't gonna fall. It's plain to see, your brains are very small to think walking. We'll be knocking down our wall. It's plain to see, your brains are very small to think walking. We'll be knocking down our wall. All right, boys, let them have it. Fire and beer.
Double time!
Well, it wasn't a pretty sight, but the Israelites did make it all the way around Jericho. Back at their camp that night, they talked it over.
Well, that could have been a lot worse. We made it all the way around, so, we only have to do this 6 more days. And that'll take care of it. Well, what do you think?
I've got slushy in my ear.
Well,
Time to fire up the Luminator, Jerry!
do you think that's a good idea?
Who wants to see the pyramids? I'm organizing a tour.
No, wait.
Things were really falling apart this time. Josh needed to do something, and quick! Junior?
Wait! Don't you see what you're doing? God gave you directions and you're ignoring them. Don't you remember what happened when you're supposed to go into the promised land, but you got scared and ran away instead? Because you didn't follow God's directions, you had to stay in the desert for 40 years.
Well, yeah, but that was...
I know God's directions don't always make sense to us, but things work out a lot better when we do them God's way instead of trying to do things our own way. It didn't make sense when God told you to walk right through the Red Sea, but what happened? The water dried up. And it didn't make sense when God told you to live in the desert even though there's no food in the desert. But what happened? God gave you manna to eat. Don't you see? Sometimes God asks us to do things that don't make sense to us, like walking around a city to make the walls fall down, or being nice to someone who hasn't been nice to us. But when we remember that God made us and loves us and always wants what's best for us, we can be sure that His way is the best way. The Lord has given this land to us, nor need to fuss. He knows what Tomorrow morning, Josh and I are going back out there to march around Jericho. Who's coming with us?
You can count on me.
All right, we're in.
Yay!
Hey, somebody's gotta carry that ark. Well, Pa, do you still want to see the pyramids?
I've seen the pyramids. I built the pyramids. Let's go to Jericho! The next day, they all set off again to march around Jericho. Now, God never said it would be easy. No, the people of Jericho hit them with everything they had.
Fire! One! Fire! Two!
But the Israelites remembered that they were following God's directions, and they kept on marching. 6 days they marched, and nothing could stop them. On the 7th day, just like God had told them, they marched around Jericho 7 times while the priests blew their horns. And just like God said, when they finished marching, the priests blew one long blast, and then all the people yelled.
Hello! My name is Joshua, and God hath given us this land.
So the Israelites obeyed God, and the walls fell down. Finally, after 40 years, they were in their new home. Boy, did I pick a lousy day to wear my contacts.
And in the promised land, it's gonna be so grand. We're gonna march through the streets, walking hand in hand. It'll be so great, now we don't have to wait, 'cause we're going to the promised land. Yeah, we're going to the promised land.
Does anyone have any saline? Well, what'd you think?
That was amazing! But did they really build a rocket in the middle of the desert and get slushies dropped on their heads?
No. Those were some things that we put in our story. Remember? We were using our imaginations.
Oh.
But there really was a guy named Joshua, and the Israelites really did walk around Jericho, and the walls really did fall down.
Wow!
Yep. If you want to learn more about Joshua, you can read about him in the Bible, in the book called Joshua.
Wow! He's even got his own book?
That's right. We're over here by QWERTY to talk about what we learned today.
And so what we have learned applies to our lives today. And God has a lot to say in his book.
I'll be right back. Huh? What?
Not so fast, Tomato!
Yes, we love that song.
You see, we know that God's word is for everyone. And now that our song is done, we'll take a look.
The Israelites learned that since God loved them and was always looking out for them, that His way was the best way.
That's right. And because Joshua obeyed God, he went on to be a great leader too, just like Moses. Let's see if QWERTY has a verse for us. As for God, His way is perfect. 2 Samuel 22:31a.
Well, gee, if God's way is perfect, I guess it makes sense to obey Him.
I think you're right, Junior. So, Victor, I know being nice to someone who hasn't been nice to you doesn't sound like very much fun, but following God's directions is always the best idea. And maybe Louis doesn't need a punch in the nose. Maybe Louis needs a friend.
Yeah!
Well, we're out of time for today. Remember,
God made you special and He loves you very much.
bye!
Bye!
Is it time for the show? Oh, nuts.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Laddie, the part of the show where Laddie comes out and sings a silly song. One day, while talking with Dr. Archibald, Laddie confronts one of his deepest fears.
If my lips ever left my mouth, packed a bag and headed south, that'd be too bad. I'd be so sad.
I see, that'd be too bad. You'd be so sad.
That'd be too bad.
Alrighty.
If my lips said adios, I don't like you, I think you're gross, that'd be too bad. I might get mad.
That'd be too bad. You might get mad.
That'd be too bad.
Fascinating.
If my lips moved toodaloo, left a mess and took my tooth, that'd be too bad. I'd call my dad.
Oh dear, that'd be too bad. You'd call your dad.
That'd be too bad.
Hold it! Did you say your father? Fascinating! So what you're saying is, if your lips left you...
That'd be too bad, I'd be so sad, I might get mad, I'd call my dad, that'd be too bad.
That'd be too bad.
That'd be too bad.
Why?
'Cause I love my lips. Beely bap bop beely bop boo, eeby dap bop boo bada boo bow. Yabba dap bop dee ba bow boom bum beely bop bop dow. Yabba dabba dabba blue blue bum. Eeby dabba blue 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 dabba
Oh my, this is more serious than I thought. Laddie, what do you see here?
That looks like a lip.
What about this?
It's a lip.
And this?
It's a lip, it's a lip, it's a lip, 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 it's a lip, it's a lip, it's a lip, 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 it's a lip, it's a lip, it's a lip, 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 lip.
Laddie, tell me about your childhood.
When I was just 2 years old, I left my lips out in the cold and they turned blue. What could I do?
Oh dear, they turned blue. What could you do?
Oh, they turned blue.
I see.
On the day I got my tooth, I had to kiss my great Aunt Ruth. She had a beard, and it felt weird.
My, she had a beard and it felt weird?
She had a beard.
Oh.
10 days after I turned 8, got my lips stuck in a gate. My friends all laughed, and I just stood there until the fire department came and broke the lock with a crowbar, and I had to spend the next 6 weeks in lip rehab with this kid named Oscar who got stung by a bee right on the lip, and we couldn't even talk to each other until the 5th week because both of our lips were so swollen, and when he did start speaking, he just spoke Polish, and I only knew like 3 words in Polish, except now I know 4 because Oscar taught me the word for lip. Usta.
Your friends all laughed. Usta. How do you spell that?
I don't know.
So what you're saying is that when you were young...
They turned blue, what could I do? She had a beard and it felt weird, my friends all laughed. Usta.
I'm confused.
I love my lips.
This has been Silly Songs with Laddie. Tune in next time to hear Laddie say...
Have I ever told you how I feel about my nose?
Oh, look at the time!
And now it's time for an installment in the history of fashion with Archibald, the part of the show where Archibald comes out and shares a lesson in the history of fashion. In the
the olden days, the biggest craze with the folks who lived back then of the bourgeoisie, an accessory for the women and the men. Not pant or shirt, nor blouse or skirt, or anything made from thread, but woven hair from horse or bear situated on the head.
Our astonishing wigs!
They're enormously big.
We love our astonishing wigs!
Astonishing wigs, astonishing wigs. Do you like our astonishing wigs?
From most famous queens of greatest means to the lowly Duchess fair, ran a common thread upon the head for those unhappy with their hair. Now you can bet that even pets and livestock would confer. So wigs they took to improve the look of their bristles and their fur.
Our astonishing wigs!
They're enormously big.
We love our astonishing wigs. Astonishing wigs, astonishing wigs. Do you like our astonishing wigs? We are the pigs in wigs. Yes, our locks are very big, and we squeal without a care in our artificial hair.
Our hearts are most enthralled since pigs like us are bald.
So we'll sing and we'll smile and we'll proudly flaunt the style of our astonishing wigs.
And so it's said this fashion spread from the lofty to the low. From prince to pig, the look was big and continued thus to grow. Hence girls and boys would dress their toys in manufactured mops. Then bush and tree soon too would see small wigs upon their tops.
Our astonishing wigs!
They're enormously big.
We love our astonishing wigs!
Astonishing wigs, astonishing wigs. Do you like our astonishing wigs? These are twigs in wigs. Yes, our locks are very big, and they dance without a care in their artificial hair.
We don't panic.
If their hair gets problematic,
We just sit back and smile.
for the fabricated style.
Of our astonishing wigs. Astonishing wigs.
So you think I'm silly?
Well, yes. This has been an installment in the history of fashion with Archibald. Tune in next time to hear Archibald say, "So then, after a while, wigs went out of fashion, and everyone turned to bell-bottoms."
Oh, brother.
Our astonishing wigs.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song. Larry will be performing the traditional Argentinian ballad, The Dance of the Cucumber, in its original Spanish. Bob the Tomato will translate.
Miren al pepino.
Watch the
bien
cucumber.
Cómo se
See
mueve,
how he moves.
como un león.
Like a lion
tras un
chasing
ratón.
a mouse.
Miren al pepino.
Watch the cucumber.
Qué suaves
Oh, how
movimientos.
smooth his motion.
Es como
Like
mantequilla
butter
en un
on a
chango pelón.
bald monkey.
Miren al
Watch
pepino.
the cucumber.
Los
All the
vegetales.
vegetables
Envidian a su
envy
amigo
their
como
friend,
él quieren
wishing
bailar.
to dance as he.
Pepino bailarín.
Dancing cucumber.
Pepino bailarín.
Dancing cucumber.
Pepino bailarín.
Dancing cucumber.
Baila, baila
Dance, dance, yeah.
ya. Miren el tomate.
Look at the tomato.
No es triste.
Isn't it
Él
sad?
no puede
He
bailar.
can't dance.
Pobre tomate.
Poor tomato.
Él desearía poder bailar como el pepino.
He wishes he could dance like the cucumber,
Libre y suavemente.
free and smooth,
Pero no puede danzar.
but he can't. Okay, stop the music. What do you mean I can't dance? I can dance. Well, what about Uncle Louie's polka party? Didn't you see me dancing at Uncle Louie's polka party?
No comprendo.
No comprendo. I'll show you no comprendo.
Mom! Dad! Look over here! Get a picture of me next to the cucumber in authentic Argentinian garb!
Okay, Junior, but we better hurry. I think the dwarves have your mother confused with someone else. Say peas.
Peace!
Escuchen al pepino.
Listen to the cucumber.
Oigan su voz
Hear his
fuerte.
strong
Como
voice,
un león.
like a lion,
Listo a devorar.
about to eat.
Escuchen al
Listen to the
pepino.
cucumber.
Qué dulce es su
How
canto.
sweet his voice.
Que sopla
The
su
breath from his
garganta
throat is
parece
like a
un
chorus
trinar.
of little birdies.
Escuchen al
Listen to the
pepino.
cucumber.
Los
All the
vegetales
vegetables
envidian a su
envy their
amigo
friend,
como él
wishing
quieren
to sing
cantar.
as he.
Pepino
Singing
cantador.
cucumber.
Pepino
Singing
cantador.
cucumber.
Pepino
Singing
cantador.
cucumber.
Canta,
Sing,
canta
sing,
ya.
yeah.
Escuchen el tomate.
Listen to the
No
tomato.
es triste.
Isn't it sad?
Él no puede
He
cantar.
can't sing.
Pobre tomate.
Poor tomato.
Él desearía poder cantar.
He wishes he could sing.
Fuerte y dulce como el pepino.
Strong and sweet like the cucumber.
Pero no puede.
But he can't.
Ni siquiera dar un silbido.
Can't even whistle. All right, that's it, senor. Come over here and let me sing you a song.
Adios, amigos.
This has been Silly Songs with Larry. Tune in next time to hear Larry sing.
Bob is really angry. I hope he doesn't catch me. It's so hard to run with the sombrero on my head.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song.
Trapped in the trappings of holiday bliss. Wrapped in bright wrappings, gone badly amiss. In paper and tape, in a cucumber shape. Oops, I wrapped myself up for Christmas. Oops, I wrapped myself up for Christmas. I didn't mean to do it. Was stuck before I knew it. Oops, I wrapped myself up for Christmas. The tape was super sticky. And all went down so quickly. Somehow when I was packing, I got caught up in the wrapping, in the ribbons and bows. The only gift with the nose. Oops, I wrapped myself up for Christmas.
Hey, Larry, where are you? Can you help me wrap Junior's present?
Here I am.
Where?
Right here.
I don't see you.
I wouldn't expect you to.
Huh? Why?
Why?
Ah!
Because
Larry?
I wrapped myself up for Christmas.
You wrapped yourself up?
Yep.
However did you do it?
I don't know.
Is it tricky to see through it?
Yeah.
Oh, why? Did you wrap yourself up for Christmas?
Didn't do it on purpose. Completely accidental.
Accidental? You do look ornamental.
Aw, thank you. Somehow when I were packing, I got caught up in the wrapping. All the ribbons and bows, the only gift with a nose. Oops, I wrapped myself up for Christmas.
Oh, Larry, leave it to you. You're the only one I know who could go and wrap himself up.
Really?
Ah!
Wrapped his clothes up for Christmas. Sorry.
Wrapping up a school bus.
The cucumber confused us. I can't see.
And
Hey!
wrap his clothes up for Christmas.
Just trying to help, guys.
Our anxiety is growing.
We can't see where we're going.
Somehow when we were packing, we got caught up in the wrapping. To Christmassy peas, pizza reprise, Larry. Wrap us both up for Christmas.
Bob! Larry!
Oh no, I gotta get this wrapped. Junior's coming.
I'll help.
No, don't let him.
I've got something for you. Hello?
Oh, we wrap ourselves up for Christmas.
Actually, he wrapped me up.
Larry, wrap us all up for Christmas.
Hold on, guys. Trapped in the trappings of holiday bliss. Wrapped in bright wrappings, found badly amiss. Beneath the paper and tape, in vegetable shapes. It's so much fun to unwrap you from this. Here you go.
You unwrapped us all for Christmas.
This has been Silly Songs with Larry. Tune in next time to hear Junior say,
Has anyone seen Pa Grape?
Larry, wrap me all up for Christmas.
Larry! Sorry.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song. We join our veggie friends for their annual Easter tradition.
Okay, kids, ready for the Easter egg hunt?
I've got my hat. I've got my net. I've got binoculars, metal detector. I'm set for an expedition. I'm a cuke on a mission. The greatest Easter egg hunt yet. I'm good to go. I'll find the prize. At the safari store I bought out all their supplies. Life will be sweet when my beautiful treat is right before my eyes. My golden egg has my name on it. It will be mine, all mine, because I want it. It's there for the picking, from a bunny or chicken. Soon I'll be holding my golden egg. In the deepest, darkest darkest jungle, there are many scary things. I am always on the lookout for whatever bites or stings. I run or creep down low, I go wherever eggs may roam. Remember, I'm a professional, so don't try this at home. No luck? Okay, my search will widen to just beyond this lava pit. I'm sure that's where it's hiding. I overcome each hardship, I make it through each mess, because I must possess my golden egg. Has my name on it. It will be mine, all mine, all mine, because I want it. It's there for the picking, from a bunny or chicken. Soon I'll be holding my golden egg. I missed it.
Oh, look! I found it!
And now she has her happy hands around it. I'm defeated, a lot of nothing's what I got. But maybe, but maybe, but maybe not. I still have my golden egg, thanks to the caring of my competitor, whose heart believes in sharing.
This foil's made for peeling.
What a wonderful feeling!
'Cause now we are holding our golden egg.
This has been Silly Songs with Larry. Tune in next time to hear Larry say,
This is awesome! I love eggs!
Hi, kids. I'm Bob the Tomato.
And I'm Larry the Cucumber.
Welcome to VeggieTales. And now Larry and I have gotten a lot of letters with questions about sharing.
We sure have. When do I have to share? Why do I have to share? Whatever happened to Funny and Share? Questions, questions, questions.
Yeah. Anyway, we decided to tackle all your sharing questions in one show. So...
Oh, yes, Bob! Bob!
What is it, Archibald? We're in the middle of a show.
Oh, yes, exactly! I couldn't help but notice that in King George and the Ducky, you let Jimmy and Jenny put on a show.
Yeah, but it didn't work out very well.
Understandably so, them being them and all. You see, I've noticed that to date, VeggieTales has been somewhat lacking in the taste and culture department.
Your point?
I'd like to do a show. It'll be great. You'll love it.
It's about sharing, Bob.
Oh, all right. But if you get into any trouble, let us know, okay?
Oh, don't worry about a thing. Huh? Prepare to be dazzled. All right, fellows, bring out the set. Oh, you're really in for a treat.
Fireplace!
The fireplace!
The chair!
The chair!
The water!
Ambiance!
Ambiance! Oh, it's just like you wanted.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Lovely. Thank you for joining us this evening for what promises to be a cultural tour de force of veggie programming. For our first story, we present the world's first all-vegetable staging of Shakespeare's classic, Hamlet. Did you get the script?
Well, actually, this Hamlet, she was very hard to find. But we found something very similar.
Oh, similar!
Omelette?
Just the name, she makes you hungry, no?
What?
Archibald, is everything all right?
What? Oh, yes, of course. Then, well, off we go. Presenting Shakespeare's classic, Omelette.
His Majesty, the troubled Prince Omelette, requests his dairy eggs.
Cooked, light, and fluffy.
Doth not the troubled prince know that these are the last eggs in the entire kingdom?
But of course. Why do you think he is troubled?
Will the prince not share his eggs with his starving people?
Perhaps he'll think about that over lunch.
The prince's eggs coming up.
Ow! Just step. Wow,
Woe is me! I am troubled. Alas, forsooth, the country is rapidly running out of eggs. The people are starving, and I am helpless to help them. What will become of my kingdom? Aha! Something's cooking in the state of Denmark.
Your eggs, Prince Omelette! Cooked light and fluffy! The last eggs in the kingdom!
The last poor yolks! I'll chew them well, Horatio. But soft, it is Ophelia! But soft, it is Ophelia!
But I don't want to do it. It's embarrassing.
No, you're ridiculous. It's tradition. In Shakespeare's day, all the women's roles were played by men.
I think we're gonna get letters about this.
It is I, the fair Ophelia.
Pray thee, what news, fair Ophelia? I beseech thee, my lady.
Oh, my lord! I come with disparaging news!
More bad news?
The people, my lord! They're starving! There are not enough eggs for them! Meanwhile, you feast on eggs every day! Cooked light and fluffy! 'Tis rottenness that has beset our fair kingdom!
And on top of that, my eggs are getting cold.
Oh, my troubled prince! I beseech and implore thee! Please share your eggs with the people!
Share my eggs? Share my eggs? Then I won't have any! What are you thinking, fair Ophelia?
Simply this. God says he likes it when we share our blessings. Goodbye.
Can I take these off now?
To eat or not to eat? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler to share my eggs, cooked light and fluffy, or to scarf down the whole thing myself. To share or not to share? What you doing there, young lad?
Just playing, Your Highness.
Ah, are you just gonna keep playing like that, alone?
I don't know. Would you like to share my game?
Well, sure. Playing's the thing.
Great. Just guess where you think my ships are.
Oh, okay. To be.
Not to be.
Drat. Your turn.
Hey, what's that?
Oh, that would be mine eggs, cooked light and fluffy.
It looks quite yummy. Might I try a bite?
Sure you can. Hey!
What?
Methinks I just shared with you, didn't I?
Methinks you did.
Ha! Sharing? You know, that wasn't so bad. Actually, it felt pretty good.
Your Highness, the things God wants us to do for others usually make us feel good, too.
You called, Your Highness?
No, not yet.
My mistake.
Oh, servant.
You called, Your Highness?
Yes. Call everyone together. I have an announcement to make.
Mary, Your Highness.
Good people of Denmark, I have decided to share my eggs with you.
Yay!
Because God likes it when we share our blessings.
But sire, there aren't enough eggs to go around.
Where do you find these eggs, anyway?
You know, they're the little white round things that come out of chickens.
What? We thought those were ping pong balls. We got plenty of those.
Eggs cooked light and fluffy for everyone!
I have an idea. Why don't we name these light and fluffy eggs after our beloved prince? I give you the omelette.
Hey, boss, where might I find some toast?
Get thee to a bakery.
Did you understand any of that?
Not a word.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show.
Stop! Stop! Don't even think about it! As if omelette wasn't bad enough. Ahem. Philippe? Jean-Claude?
Oui?
And now it is time for Classy Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a classy song. One day, while he was waiting for the trolley, he had a hat.
My high silk hat.
He wore it high upon his head so proudly, a beautiful hat.
My high silk hat.
A hat like this just makes him feel so grandly. Now fancy this, and fancy that. The splendor of this hat in all its majesty.
Like a king in a royal cap. I feel so swell and handsome in my hat. I bet that others wish they had, in fact, a hat as this, a hat as that, a hat so fine, a high silk hat. Oh, Mr. Art Bugatti, now what do you think of that?
Now his hat was not all he wore so proudly. I must, in fact, share more than that. For upon his lap there sat a treat so fondly of chocolate this
and chocolate that.
Deliciousness that makes him feel so dandy. A chocolate bliss,
a chocolate snack.
Invention such as these are more than candy. Someone might buy a box of that.
I have my chocolate placed upon my lap. I feel so good, you just cannot top that. I have my snack, a chocolate pack of chocolate this and chocolate that. Oh golly, Mr. Nazar, now what do you think of that?
Now time was passing and the sun grew hotter upon his hat
and chocolate snack.
So beneath his hat he thought and pondered,
what should I do to save my hat?
He thought and contemplated as he perspired beneath his hat.
Upon his hat.
He feared his chocolate treats would soon retire and to a pool.
The chocolate hat.
I won't feel grand if I take off my hat. The sun's getting hot and my hat just might go flat. My hat, it might go flat and my sweets will melt like that. Oh, hurry, Mr. Trolley, before my dapperness goes flat.
He decided to forgo his looks so dashing to save his hat.
A little snack.
So he placed the treats upon the seat beside him
and put his hat on top of that.
Oh, please.
Oh, please, oh, please.
Don't anybody sit close to me.
Sit close to me.
Upon my hat.
Upon my hat.
I ask if all of you could be so kindly and just stand back away from my snack. A great big squash just sat upon my hat. A great big squash just squished my hat real flat. He squashed my hat, he made it flat, he squished my snack. Oh, what of that? Oh, tell me anybody, now what do you think of that?
A great big squash just sat upon his hat. A great big enormous squash squished his hat real flat. He squished his hat, he made it flat, he squished his hat. Oh, what of that?
Oh, golly! What's your name?
They've never given me a name. I've been around since show 1 and I still don't have a name.
Now what do you think of that?
Well, that was interesting. Okay, Archibald? Oh, just fine, thank you. You'll be glad to know, folks, that we have saved the best for last. It has long been rumored that Gilbert and Sullivan, the brilliant musical duo, penned one last musical before their deaths. This musical, legend has it, was lost before it could be staged. Well, if my cohorts, Philippe and Jean-Claude, are correct, we have that lost musical. Fellows?
Ah! Oh! We have it right here! Right here! The lost musical of this Gilbert and Sullivan! May we?
Oh, splendid! Let me have a look at it. Oh, here it is. Gilbert and Sullivan present Lyle the Kindly Viking, a musical pop-up book. Well, get ready for a truly historic event. Once upon a time, there was a little village by the sea where there dwelt a band of Vikings.
Good morning, Mabel. How are you, dear? Oh, just fine and dandy. Is Harold round here? I haven't seen him, but that's no surprise. Olaf's gone too? Mm-hmm. They're out with the guys. We should have listened to our mothers and married more judiciously. But we pick men with metal hats who sail across the sea. You live and learn. We married Vikings. Well, you know the terrors of the sea. They're Vikings. Wherever they go, pillaging happily. They're Vikings. Let there be no ambiguities, cause this is my life as a Viking wife. We have to admit that it's rife with strife, but that's a lot we got when married we. The terrors of the sea. Oh, look what the cat drug in. Wonder what they brought back this time.
Hey, there's your wife, Olaf.
Yep, and there's your wife, Harold.
Oh boy, do they love us or what?
Well, what's not to love? I mean, after all, we're Vikings. What do you know? The terrors of the sea. We're Vikings.
Wherever we go, pillaging happily.
We're Vikings. Let there be no ambiguity. Vikings, cause who doesn't like a pile of loot?
Some gold and jewels and a shiny suit.
And a giant screen TV to boot.
A Viking life for me, yo-ho! We're Vikings.
What you know, the terrors of the sea.
We're Vikings.
Wherever they go, pillaging happily.
We're Vikings.
Let there be no ambiguity.
Vikings, cause who doesn't like a pile of loot?
This is my life as a Viking wife.
Some gold and jewels and a shiny suit.
We have to admit that it's rife with strife.
And a giant screen TV to boot.
But that's a lot we got when married we.
The terrors of the sea.
We married Vikings.
That's the life for me.
So that was the life of a Viking. Pillaging and plundering. Those are fancy words for, well, for taking other people's things. They were stealing. Their boats were so fast that no one could catch them, so they could get away with it. But not all the Vikings were involved in this unfortunate practice. No, there was one in particular. His name was Lyle.
Good morning, Lyle. Good morning.
You missed another raid, Lyle.
I know. I was making stuff.
Lyle never went on the raids. Instead, he'd stay home and make crafts. Pot holders, to be exact.
What you got in the bag, Lyle?
Hat holders. You want one?
Oh, you gave me one last week, but thank you.
Here's your share of the loot, Lyle. Don't worry, it's the least we could give you.
Thanks.
Now, Lyle was definitely an unusual Viking. Whenever the other Vikings returned from a raid, he would take his small bag of loot, plus a bunch of pot holders, and head out to sea on his own expedition.
Hi, Sven. Hi, Otar.
As you can imagine, this puzzled the other Vikings quite a bit.
What's up with Lyle? What's up with Lyle? I'm telling you, that boy doesn't fit the Viking style. Since 793, our strategy's been clear. Go get stuff from over there and bring it over here. You know that little guy? He's got me feeling all contempty. He takes his boat out loaded up and brings it back in empty. What is up with Lyle?
Yes, well, no one could figure out what Lyle was up to. So two of the other Vikings, two fellows named Sven and Otar, decided to follow him and find out.
You guys go ahead. We'll catch up.
Sven, you don't have to sing.
But it's a musical.
Yeah, I know, but you don't have to sing every line in a musical. Talking is okay, too.
Oh, okay.
So very stealthily, they followed Lyle across the sea.
No, you're too close. He's gonna see us.
No, Sven,
I'm not close enough.
Would you just let me...
We're gonna lose them.
I'm just trying to...
A little closer. No, too close. No.
Would you just... And much to their surprise, he led them right back to the monastery they had raided the night before. What?
Huh? What is he doing?
Can I see? But Sven,
no, hold on. Just a minute.
I wanna. Would you just?
No, let go.
Would you give me the?
Those are Olaf's.
Dear monks, what can I say? My friends have taken your things away. Dear monks, what can I do? I've come to bring some back to you. I cannot make it all come back, for they are bigger and older. But I'll share what I have in my little sack, and a few of my own pot holders.
Hey, it's the thought that counts. Dear little Viking boy.
You can call me Lyle.
Oh, okay. Dear Lyle, we like your style, for we were all despairing. But you rowed your boat for many a mile to practice an act of sharing. Boys?
Thank you, Viking friend. No longer are we blue. Rest assured that we intend to someday soon help you.
Sven and Otar were very confused.
I'm confused.
They returned home and waited to confront Lyle.
Not so fast. Don't take another hop. We know where you've been, and we think it's gotta stop.
We Vikings rule the seas. We pillage and attack. We never say please, and we never give stuff back.
Not to mention the potholders.
You both care about your share of gold, so rare, and big TVs. But when I share, I get my share of friends. What's the use? A golden goose is no excuse for being mean. When I share, I get my share of friends. Yeah.
Well, Sven and Otar had never thought about it that way. Could sharing actually give them more of what would make them really happy? Even they had noticed that watching that big screen TV wasn't all that fun by yourself. They needed to give that a little more thought. In the meantime, though, they knew Lyle would be in big trouble if Olaf learned what he was doing.
If Olaf finds out, you'll be in big trouble.
You can just talk.
Oh, right. If Olaf finds out, you know.
Well, Olaf's not gonna find out. This will be our little secret.
Thanks, guys.
So they resolved not to let Olaf find out. Unfortunately, this was easier said than done. Just a few days later, as the Vikings were headed out to raid the monastery once again, it was the only monastery in the area, Ottar spotted something. Oh no!
What is it?
It's Lyle. He's at the monastery. If Olaf sees him, he's in big trouble.
What do we do?
We've got to distract Olaf.
Look, Olaf, there's a fish with a pretty yellow circle at the bottom of the backside of his fin. Look, Olaf, there's another and another and another. That little one has got a funny grin. Look, Olaf, way down underneath the water. It's the biggest fish I think I've ever seen. Look, Olaf, he's got purple spots and orange and yellow markings and a dorsal fin that's iridescent green.
What?
Ottar, I don't see any of that.
Sven, we've got to distract him. Help me out.
Oh. Look, Olaf, there's a turtle and he's wearing pink pajamas and he's got a cowboy hat upon his lid. Look, Olaf, very close and see he's riding on a llama and he's chasing down the herd of giant squid. Look, Olaf. There's a whale that's dancing with a bear.
Look, Olaf, it's a mermaid.
It's an ostrich.
It's a bunny. Look, Olaf, please look anywhere but...
I don't see anything. What?
But there.
Hey, isn't that Lyle?
Mm-hmm. And he left something with those monks.
What is it?
It's potholders and the little bag of loot we gave him.
Hey, that goes against the code of the Viking.
You can say that again.
While that little Viking is in big trouble. What do you think you're doing?
I was...
Giving them stuff back.
Yeah?
Well, now there's a storm a brewing, and you're the one that's under attack.
Olaf, this storm is blowing up pretty quick. Maybe we should head back.
First, I need to make an example out of this Asparagus.
You know, I think Harold is right. We gotta get out of here.
Almost done. You'll see that nothing good comes from giving things back.
Where's the life ring?
Right here!
Hang on, Lyle! Help is on the way! Huh? What I threw? Hey, Vay! Hang on! Cool, boys! Cool!
Hey, look! The monks saved Lyle!
What? Oh.
I guess if we had shared, there'd be somebody to save us, too.
Thanks, guys.
We knew we could help you someday.
But what about my friends?
They were mean to us.
I'm pretty sure God wants us to help everyone, not just the people who are nice to us.
Oh, you're right. We're monks. We should know that, huh? All right, come on, boys. Let's save the Vikings. Can we put away the good silverware first? Oh, all right.
So not only did the monks save Lyle, they saved all the Vikings from the storm. And just because Lyle had made friends with them by sharing.
Thank you, our new friends. You saved us from the our share of gold so rare and big TVs. But when we share, we get our share of friends.
So what's the use? A golden goose is no excuse for being mean. When we share, we get our share of friends.
Does that mean we can't be Vikings anymore?
Not necessarily, but I do think you need to change your song.
We're Vikings,
what do you know? The sharers of the sea.
We're Vikings,
Wherever we go, sharing happily.
we're Vikings.
Let there be no animosity.
Cause our pillaging ways we will amend by sharing and caring and making friends. And finally our singing is at its end. The sharers of the sea. We're Vikings, the sharers of the sea.
I need to go to the bathroom!
Sven, you can stop singing now.
Oh, right.
Well, there you have it. The lost musical of Gilbert Jones and Sullivan O'Kelly? What? That's not right. That's the wrong Gilbert and Sullivan. This wasn't their lost musical at all.
We liked it.
Oh, that's what I get for working with pigs. I could have your union card, so let you go. You'll never work on the West End again. Oh, we're over here by QWERTY to talk about what we learned today.
And so what we have learned applies to our lives today. God has a lot to say in His book.
You think they're gonna be okay?
I think they'll be just fine.
You see, we know that God's word is for everyone. Now that our song is done, we'll take a look.
Well, Prince Omelette learned that God wants us to share, and that sharing can actually feel pretty good.
Yep, and Lyle taught all the Vikings that even though sharing doesn't get you more stuff, it does get you more friends. And that's even better.
That's right, Larry. Well, let's see if the Bible says anything about sharing. And do not forget to do good and to share with others, for with such sacrifices God is pleased. Hebrews 13:16. So God likes it when we share.
Yep, and so do the people we share with.
Well, we're out of time for today, so remember, God made you special and He loves you very much. Goodbye! Oops, sorry!
Bob, don't look.
Just roll the credits, Larry. Roll the credits.
VeggieTales, 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 VeggieTales.